Hello viewers, Bookcrunch here from Noni Racing. In today's episode we are heading down to TeamSport Warrington for an open 342 session. It took place on a Friday night at 10 PM and we still had a full track of 18 carts. It was clear from the beginning that we would not be able to focus just on our lap times. We would need to do a lot of overtaking and we were hoping to find someone on track to race with. Luckily, this night delivered on all fronts. We managed to set our fastest lap on an open session. We did a lot of overtaking and managed to get involved in some good racing as well. So let's jump into session 1 highlights. Early on in this session we are catching up with kart number 20 in the 3 hairpins, but unfortunately in the middle of the turn, which loses us crucial momentum. Once we manage to gather speed, we complete the overtake on the outside. This leads us into a kart facing the wrong direction, which results in a yellow flag, and this means we are going to lose heat we managed to put into the tires during the previous laps. Soon after this, we are catching up with kart 22. We are taking the hairpin better, conserving more speed, and this allows us to make the pass on the outside. One lap later, at the same spot, we have a slower kart inside, but we are taking the hairpin too narrow. As we are losing too much speed to drive around, we need to pull to the inside of the corner leading to the downhill ramp and finish the move. Here we are overtaking a slower kart on the outside. After this, we are trying to carry as much speed towards the ramp as possible, and this allows us to catch up with kart number 8. Although there is a difference in pace, the kart in front takes defensive lines and drives in the middle, which makes the overtaking in the upper section very difficult. This forces us to wait for the right opportunity. As on the downwards ramp it's easy to gather speed, and overtaking in the chicane is risky. We will wait until the end of the finish straight to go onto the inside before turn 1, deny the racing line and complete a clean overtake. We are catching up with number 12 and we are trying to follow him as close as possible. Lucky for us, he makes a mistake in turn 17, so we can hug the inside line and make the pass. A bit later, we are catching up with 3 karts in the 3 hairpins. In turn number 2, kart 20 loses control, which allows us to make the pass, but unfortunately kart 22 forces us to brake mid-corner in turn 3. We have to build up speed again and make an inside overtake in turn 7 after the second Dunlop sign. This allows us to catch up with number 17, the third kart in the pack. Under the bridge towards the ramp hairpin we attempt a narrow move, which turns out to be a mistake as we lose too much speed. Afterwards the ramp, a heavyweight driver just has no chance building up momentum, which allows 17 to maintain the position. On the upper section we manage to stay on his tail, but we are also catching up with some more traffic. As we discussed before, the next realistic opportunity to complete this move will be end of the finish straight. We make slight contact in the chicane, but we still have sufficient momentum to go to the inside and complete a double overtake following kart 13 through. In the second hairpin we get close to the kart in front, and in the third we are going into the inside, which is another mistake as we are not close enough to really make a move, but taking this line loses us crucial momentum for the next section of the track, which temporarily widens the gap. Under the bridge, we close the gap and kart 13 just moves out of the way to allow us through. These were the highlights of session 1. Let's go and see what session 2 brings. Session 2 starts with a familiar sight of a kart facing the wrong direction, but no yellow flag in this case, which allows us to continue putting some heat into the tires. Here we are making a clean inside pass in turn number 2. A few moments later we are catching up with a slower driver under the bridge. We are trying to slot into the gap on the outside, but there is not enough space left, so we force our way through with a slight contact. We have car number 8 in front of us, and normally on this part of the track we are trying to carry as much speed onto the ramp as possible, but in this case we are going for another narrow line overtake in the ramp hairpin. Luckily the kart in front politely gives us enough space to complete the move. We are making a quick overtake on a slower kart by hugging the inside line, and after that we are trying to reel in kart number 3. In the download corners we are still not close enough, but due to traffic number 3 tries an outside line overtake, while kart number 4 does the same thing on the inside. We follow the driver in the pink suit on the inside, and this allows us to do a double pass. Number 4's pace was close to ours, and it took us a lap to get close enough to make a move. Towards the ramp hairpin, we managed to carry a good amount of speed, and as number 4 goes narrow, we take the more ideal wide line, which allows us to carry more speed onto the ramp and secures us the inside line into the next corner. Once we managed to get in front of the pink driver, we caught up with number 12, who takes a defensive line in the hairpin but allows us through in the down ramp corner. Number 10 takes a wide line upwards the ramp, but then switches to the outside, which allows us to move to the inside and make the pass. In the last highlight from this session, we will be trying to pass number 8. Under the bridge, we are going to take the inside, but this forces us to be on the outside in the next turn, which allows him to temporarily keep the position. He takes the ramp hairpin narrow, and he does not cover the outside line, which allows us to create superior momentum onto the ramp, where we take the inside in the next turn and complete the move. Session 3 is going to be far the most interesting, but also the most frustrating. Once we are out of the pits, we find ourselves behind kart 13, who had a large gap to us, an extra lap of heat in the tires, as well as good pace. It would take us 2 laps to get close. Unfortunately, we are not able to race him as he makes a mistake and goes behind kart 18 in the finish straight, which allows us to go on the inside and make the pass. Just after the hairpin, there is a slight contact with number 18, and we need to wait for an opportunity to make the move. The opportunity comes after the second Dunlop sign in turn 7, where he goes wide, and this allows us to make the pass on the inside. Once we have a clear track, we are trying to go on a flying lap. We make a mistake in sector 1 and lose almost a second compared to our personal best, but on the track this is really hard to tell, and the rest of the lap feels really good. It's worth mentioning that the lap timer on this track is at the end of the finish straight, well into the normal braking zone. So a common trick in order to gain a bit of time is to fly through the finish line without braking, sacrificing the first hairpin and because of that the next lap. This will be our first attempt at this trick, and it backfires badly. Firstly, as our first sector was very slow, we will not be anywhere near our personal best. The other I will let you guess once we are at the finish line. Yes, due to 2 karts spinning at the hairpin, we have a kart facing the wrong direction, and we reach the finish line committing way too much speed to be able to take the hairpin narrow. This forces us to brake hard, perform an evasive maneuver, and visit the barrier. Cherry on top is that this allows number 13 to take his position back. From here, this session takes a downward spiral. We follow number 13 to try to take the position back, and due to traffic on track, we manage to close the gap quickly when we make a terrible mistake. Going into the ramp hairpin, car 19 takes the inside and 13 takes the outside. We are expecting 13 to go wide, so we are trying to take the middle line. Unfortunately, he goes on the outside line, but then he tries to take the turn narrow and crosses our line, which means that we are pushing him sideways. With no momentum going up the ramp, it feels like we are the turtle racing the rabbit as two cars pass on each side. The rest of the race was just trying to recover from the shock and trying to get some quick laps. With not much else left to show, let's see our fastest lap of the night. We managed to beat our open session best, but we were still 1 second away from our personal best. Most sectors were a close call, but we made a mistake in sector 2 which sealed our fate. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Also consider subscribing to get notified about our upcoming content. If you have something to say, you can do so in the comment section, or you can join us on Discord. The invite is in the video description below. And as always, thanks for watching, see you in the next one. Happy racing!